Hello and welcome to another beautiful day. My voice is a bit hoarse, I don't know if that's how it's said, but I'm going to try to keep it. So I'm going to be a bit brief. I have some coffee, no butter this time. And today I need to do 6 intros for my courses. I'm going to start a bit early, but I have to go buy some saline water for my nose to get rid of the stuffing in my nose, in my sinuses. That will really help me not get my voice damaged anymore. Yesterday I didn't have any, so that's why probably I got my voice hoarse. I spoke a bit more emphatic for the intros. I enunciated on each and every word. Well, not on each and every word, but on the most important words. And I was a bit more loud, so that's probably why I took so long to make the intros and why my voice is damaged today. I am going to try to protect it. I was actually thinking of starting a new channel. I know it's crazy, but I might be doing it for some reasons. I want to start a channel where I talk about being poor and how to afford nice things and tips and tricks of really making the most out of the things that you have and put them to use and put them to work and really teaching people how to not need a job anymore. I've been successful at this for the last 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. I did have a job in the last 4 years for about 3 months, but that was just because I wanted to earn twice as much in a fast period of time. And I had an opportunity to work on a nice project. So I actually did it. The work was fine. I really enjoyed it because I could just put my headphones and work on it in the office. Well, it wasn't an office. I was doing mosaic. So yeah, it was a nice project, well paid, and I did that. But the main purpose of the channel of the um, how to be poor channel, I think I'm gonna call it that way. How to be poor, um, and it's basically just tips and tricks that I've learned how to not be employed, how to not need a job. Usually it boils down to skills. You need to learn a new skill every 3 to 6 months, and in about a year and a half, in about 9 months to 1 year and a half, you will not need a job anymore because you will have so many services that you can offer that you will not really need a job. Plus, if you pick up the right skills, you can build products and things that will really make you financially free, at least in the sense that you will not have to work for your money as much. You will still have to work, but just maintenance and basically customer service. So that's what I was thinking of starting. It's a very good niche because people really are looking for ways to not be poor. But it's a fun twist on an old niche because it's more from the perspective of what to do if you have no money. And I'm not gonna promote scams and stuff like that because I'm totally against that. And I'm not gonna promote get quick rich schemes and sell people anything. But maybe if in the future I will sell them something. But at first, well, not at first, but during the whole process, I'm just going to talk about how you can basically get more out of being poor and how can you really make the limitations that you have be your biggest strengths. And it starts basically with a list of all the things that you have, all the expenses, all of the gear that you have, all of the skills that you have. And that's the most important thing, I believe, whenever you are poor, and asking yourself, what is the one thing, one skill that I can learn now in about 3 or 6 months that will change my situation drastically? And of course, the second question is, do I want to do that? And if so, then just go ahead and do it. If not, go to another skill. What am I willing to do? Because sometimes you're just not willing to do the things that you want that will help you. I know that feeling. I know that I had times in my life where I didn't want to learn anything new that was going to change my life because just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like I was the right person to learn that, even though it would have changed my life. I had more availability to do those kinds of things when I was 20, 25 because I was aimless. I didn't have a clearly defined path that I wanted for myself. And I was more willing to try new things, at least for a few months. Now it has to fit in nicely with everything that I do in order to be more integrated, like to be more synergistic with the skills that I already have developed, because I've learned that that's how you build good products, good like work related stuff. I tried to learn programming and it didn't really fit in nicely with what I do. I know a little bit about programming, but I was just doing it for to get a very high paying job. And no, I I did learn it. It was fun, but I went in after 2 months. I realized that it didn't fit with my like way of doing things, and it didn't fit. Usually by the 2 month mark, I get so many ideas on how to integrate that thing in my workflow, and now it just didn't, because I didn't find it too useful. Just because to get to a level where you build useful stuff, you have to spend 2, 3, 4 years. And even then, you just can get things that are free that do the same thing like super instantly. So that's basically what it is. It's programming is more of a team effort instead of a solo effort. So I like skills that I can do by myself and have a great result by myself. And in programming, if you want awesome results, you need to basically spend a lot of time, and not only spend a lot of time, but know a lot of things. So you cannot, the learning curve is so much greater than with, I don't know, photography or videography or things like that. Basically, the programmers are have a higher standard for quality because there isn't any like people don't like for instance in photography or videography, most people do certain things that are critical to get a good result, and they don't do it, and that's why you can just do those things and get just a good enough result that you can charge for. But in programming, I don't think that's true. Most people don't do, or at least I didn't see the biggest mistakes that people do that I can avoid, and if I avoid, I can have good results, good enough results to just. And plus, I still do use programming. Like I use the Python script to make 36 365 folders for this channel, and the other channel to just have folders with a date. So that took like 5 seconds. I also used it to crop in half some images, like 60 images. So that was a simple script. I didn't wrote it. I did wrote the one with cutting in half, but the one with the folders, I had just had ChatGPT do it, and it worked flawlessly. I did, however, change a few things because, well, it had to be on my specific machine, so I had to change a bit. But yeah, it does help, but it doesn't really fit in nicely with my current set of skills, maybe in the future. But if I learn every 3 to 6 months a new skill, like for instance, I've learned how to train dogs. I've spent, I was passionate about that for after I got Sophie, and I watched 400, 500 hours of dog training videos, and I tested it on Sophie, and I went and talked with some trainers, and then I had some realizations and some successes. So much so that because I have so many skills that I've learned during the years, now I can replicate and understand and make it easy for myself to train dogs. And tomorrow or in 2 days, I'm going to have my first dog training client. I had another one, but she didn't pay. I just taught her dog in 20 minutes how to walk nicely on a leash without any corrections, which is very nice. I just have a protocol that I've borrowed from another trainer, but it really works, and it makes the dog really walk nicely and not run, not pull, not do anything. And it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. And I've developed this philosophy of dog training where it needs to be easy for you and the dog. And once I realized how it should be, I only did the things that are easy, and I understood the big concepts. Like, and I tested it. Like, I did this sound, and then I did this specific thing every time afterwards. I just threw a piece of uh, of food on the floor, and the dog and Sophie started running after it, and then I did the sound every time, and the same behavior and the same behavior, and then that's how I tested it, how it's super easy to do. And after a while, whenever I did the sound, Sophie would be like, where is it, where is it? Because so it's like the bell, but it might sound weird, and not weird, but it might sound like, oh, you just did classical conditioning. Yes, but also I trained my dog to be alert when I need her to be alert. So I can use that alertness to give another command. So you build them like Legos. You build them like Legos. And I also did some targeting where she just puts her nose in my hand and then gets a treat. So I can use the hand instead of food luring, because a lot of dog trainers use food luring, but I've seen in my dog and other dogs that food luring doesn't really teach them, because it's just a carrot in front of you. If you don't have the carrot, you don't perform. So if I do with the hand, and it on some dogs it works so good, like this targeting, that if you're 20 meters or 40 feet away and you put the hand, they just come and be like, yes, let me touch that, let me get something, because they enjoy that game. Sophie kind of enjoys that game, but she really enjoys chasing after food, which is very nice. And chasing, not food luring, but like doing the sound and then being alert and then throwing it. So it's like really built on top of her instincts. And yeah, I've learned that most of the things that you want to teach, it's about instincts and about those things that you need to build up in the dog. And as Lego pieces, you try to break everything down into smaller and smaller and smaller behaviors. So if, let's say, for instance, the dog already knows how to sit. Now, if you want to have him lay down, that's going to be a bit more easy if they already know something. So you need to understand what they know and how to break down from sit to laying down. And also you have to understand the cost of the dog, like the cost that you put upon the dog to do that behavior. Like a high cost would mean giving him corrections. A low cost would be just giving him a lot of food. So at first, if it's a new behavior, I'm just going to feed him a lot to reduce that cost. And basically, whenever he does that thing, I want to reward him as much as possible, so that his brain is like, okay, yeah, I like this command, I love this command. And when he gets it, it's like crazy. Like sometimes, if you know you've done a good thing with dog training, whenever you are trying to teach the dog a new thing and he's cycling through all of the commands, all of them, and he's like, he doesn't understand what you want, and then he figures it out. Like I did this thing with a crate, and I closed the gate of the crate, but not with the thing. And I put a lot of food, and Sophie could see, because I wanted to teach her how to get in that crate. And she could see, and she took about 5 minutes, just like, come on, I want to get in, just open it, just open it. And then she learned how to open it. I showed it to her with her paw, but she didn't want to use her paw, so at the end she just used her face to just open the door. So she figured it out in like 5 minutes, because the reward inside was so big. And she really understood that's where the reward is. How do I get in? She tried, she circled, she pushed it, yeah. And then now she just does it if I tell her like to get in and the door is closed, not with the closed thing. But yeah, she just opens it and gets in, and that's just fine. So that's the thing. You can offer photography, videography, paintings, video editing, albums, making digital designs, making websites, and I don't know, any kinds of things that are in that. The more services that you can do, the larger the pool of clients. So whoever you meet might need whatever, but you are always able to sell something to almost everyone once you have like, so let's say you already have like 2 skills that you can sell. And after 9 months, if you do 3 skills, that's another three. So you have 5 skills, 5 services or more, depending on because whenever you are like basically learning a new skill, you can add another layer to your services, especially if the things are connected in some way. So, yeah, you just need to know what skills to learn that will bring you money and have them learned in about 3 to 6 months. Usually at the beginning, it just takes about 6 months. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit harder, but after a while, like for instance, I learned how to make WordPress websites in like 13 hours. I just did 13 hours without, I couldn't sleep, and I just learned how to do those websites, like 90% of the things that I need for a WordPress website in 13 hours. So you can learn things like that super easily. Certain things you're just a bit more, you can translate the things that you already know. Like for instance, I already knew Excel and Word. So basically WordPress is just a glorified Word. So it isn't that hard to do. Once you know a little bit about it, you just understand, and you don't have to learn all of the things. Like in painting, it's way better to just work with a limited palette and a few brushes to do certain things. And it's the same. Learn the tools that get you 90% there, and the rest you just Google. So that's basically how you should learn things. Learn the things that are 90%, and then the rest, the 10%, just you can Google and figure it out as you go. It is quite late. I've done 6 intros, 2 meditation videos, and I'm gonna edit this video as well as the 2 meditation sessions and go to sleep earlier because I want to sleep. I am tired and I feel a bit sluggish. However, I've discovered today that there is a lot more to meditation than I previously thought of, and a lot more to video making that I was thinking about. And I discovered the thing about meditation is that you can get 2 different results based on your protocol. If you do a short meditation, but you do it multiple times a day, twice a day for a long time, you get a different kind of result and different kinds of benefits. But if you do long duration meditations, you get another benefit from it, which is so much more awareness. Instead, for the one that you do longer periods during the month or the year, you get this very great ability to just be present just like that super easily because you've built a lot of momentum in that direction and you've started so many times to meditate that it now becomes second nature to just become present. However, with the longer duration in one session, you get this spatial awareness, your focus and your senses, your smell, your touch, your hearing, your eyes are so much more sharp, and your thinking as well, which is a great benefit to have, especially if you are in a haze. And most of us are definitely in a big haze. Thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.